Good morning.
Good morning. Sorry, I said good morning, but I was muted. Good morning, good evening, whatever time it is for all the people watching. Are we here? Are Nick and Zach going to be on camera this week? I don't see your beautiful faces.
It's 6 in the morning. We don't want to scare people away right now who are watching. So
That's true. That's true. I've seen you this morning, so maybe it's better that you're not on camera.
please, Zach even ran away.
Okay, so maybe we give people a couple of minutes to join in, because I know a lot of people. There's 46 people here on YouTube. Let me see if people are joining on Twitter as well.
Yeah, make sure everyone, you can retweet it out, our live stream on Twitter, and hit that like button on YouTube.
Right, let me check the.
Hey, everybody.
Good morning, good evening.
Good morning.
Morning. Sorry, guys. It's
Okay.
it's like 6 o'clock in the morning, so I'm gonna keep my video off for this one.
Yeah. I think it's a good idea. I also saw a little snippet of you when you came in there, Zach. So yeah, it's probably a better, but good idea. Right, let me get my notes up, because there's a lot to go over this week.
Sounds exciting.
It is very exciting. 1 second. But how is everyone? How are you, Carrie? How are you doing while I get set up?
Fantastic. Doing great.
Yeah,
And
what
just
time
so
is it
that,
with you? It's like 10
it's
p.m.
9 p.m. 9 p.m. where I'm at.
Okay. It's a good time. Okay, so right, whipping my notes up. So there's a lot to go over this week. A lot of people have been asking about beta, and I think this week we'll pretty much go over everything. There's this week we'll most likely go over the launch of beta, like when that will be. Some of the other developments that we're doing, like the white paper, the staking, maybe some NFT sales that we have coming up. We'll also go over the hires that we have internally, some of the new hires. And I think Benji has quite a few updates about the neutral zone and about the game.
Yeah.
Some algorithms. Benji will maybe also go over a few of the things from the white paper. Carry the usual community updates. I think we have some tournaments. I think we had some. Are we doing something about AMA poker or something, Carrie? Maybe you can explain that later.
Yeah, I'll go over that later.
Yeah. And basically we're also going to go over a few of the other things from the community, but maybe we can just get started with Benji.
Sure. So maybe we can start the video, show some videos on the gameplay. So yeah, so recently we've added like a new version of the map. We're like updating it right now. So there's lots of pretty big improvements on it compared to the last already improved version. We've changed the shader of the terrain, so it looks much better. We've improved also the grass, the way the grass looks in the game, and like the vegetation. I think overall it's like a much better feeling on it. It's now kind of like ready to add more content on it. So like add more NPCs, add enemy camps, groups of enemies on the map, etc. All these things will be possible because now we have like more or less fixed version of it.
So let me open up the video while you talk about that.
Yeah.
So that everyone can see. Maybe switch it to I think there's another view that I can do it as not an overlay, or maybe not.
So.
No.
I love that added fence line.
Yes, so like the shader on the ground looks a lot better. We've improved like also like the way the water looks in some places. There's more like a diversity on the map. So I think the goal is to get really very high quality level of like details on the map, on the vegetation. Like the goal was now like to have like the foundation of it, and then we can add like more houses and stuff. You can also see that like there is some changes on the UI, some improvements for it. This is not like the last version of it, but like just we can see it in these renders. So basically, you'll be able to switch between weapons quickly from the game. So you could like press like 1, 2, 3. I mean, it will be also possible to bind which button will be used for that. And so you can switch quickly between like a bow and arrow or like an axe or like a sword, etc. And you'll also have like your weapons on your back and be able to walk around with these things. So it will be it will look a lot better. It will be very convenient once we had like the bow and arrow and everything. So yeah. Also, like for more like on the back end of the game, like we've done the authentication of the user. So it's kind of like a crucial part, especially for like a crypto game, because we want to make sure that like the wallets are correct, that everything on the back end is super safe. So this part is already working. We still like testing, and soon it will be added to the alpha. So people will be able to test it, and we'll have some feedback, and we'll understand better how to improve that. We're also like we're working a bit the way the magic works in the game. So there will be like one spell or like one spell that can be selected. Each class will have its own spells. Like each breed will have its own spells. So it will make the breeds more different from each other's. Like there will also be like a leveling system that will impact which spells you can have and you can use in the game. And so I think it will make make everything a lot more interesting. There's also some stuff for the weapons, like weapon skills that we're working on right now. So there's still a lot to do, like on the implementation part, but like for the design of the ways that the game works for the magic we're pretty clear, and I think we have a very good system, and it will be a lot of fun to play. So yeah, like here, like it's like in Freezogia, we can see like the grass looks really cool. Like it follows the color, like the trails on the map make it very interesting, and yeah. So I think that would be pretty cool.
I think this area of the map is one of the areas that people were helping create, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Like so a lot of these things were actually done like in real time by Samuel. Like he was like doing with the community, and so we received feedback, and it helped him a lot actually to develop these places because he had like direct feedback. Some people like were saying like, oh, you should create a hole in this place and stuff like that, and like he did, and I think like the result like really looks a lot better, and like everybody in the community is kind of part of this development, so it kind of belongs to kind of everybody for this.
Okay.
Yeah. So I think should we go over like the white paper things or?
Yeah, I think one of the things that we've been working on is a lot of things within the white paper itself. Benji has done a lot of simulations because we've been tweaking algorithms and making sure we get things right. Is there a specific one that you want to show first to go through?
Maybe we could start with like the minting. Maybe that could be so the distribution.
Distribution.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah. So okay, so it might be like a bit abstract here, but like it's kind of, but basically like we kind of like designed like a new way for the minting to make it really interesting. So basically, when you mint a weapon, you can choose which blocks you want to use to mint it. Like let's say a weapon costs 100 blocks to make. You can choose either you can use like mostly red blocks, mostly yellow blocks, etc. To mint it. And it will have an impact on like the weapon's attributes. So each weapon will have 8 attributes corresponding to each like types of Bezoge, each breed of Bezoge. So let's say like for instance, Freezogia weapon will look like yellow and will have like different effects, and it will also hit faster. Like the speed of that weapon will be faster, and like maybe a Bezogian weapon would make more damage, etc. And the way it is designed is basically, depending on the blocks, you increase your chances of the blocks you use to mint a weapon, you increase the probability of having a high level weapon in this attribute. So let's say like you can see in these graphs, like for instance in red. So like
this simulation you used all red basically, right?
Yeah, like in red, it's only red blocks.
This is all red versus 12.5% of each other color.
Exactly,
right?
Exactly. And so it's for like for this weapon. So like if you use all red, you have a higher chance of getting a Bezogian weapon, and you can get like more chance of getting a high level Bezogian weapon, but also like lower chance for everything. So like these are probability distribution for each of the attributes. So in red, it's like like when you use all red weapons, so you can see that you have more chance of getting a red weapon, but also like if you see around the bottom, you can see that like the chances of getting like
Let me remove the comment so that we can see the bottom properly. There we go.
Okay. So like at the bottom, like we can see that like the sum of all attributes, like the total attributes may be lower if you use only one color, and you have more chance of getting like a low level weapon. So it kind of this algorithm, the goal is to make it really kind of interesting. So if you absolutely want one type of weapon, you will use all blocks of it, but you still have lots of advantages. It's more safe, etc. if you use like a mix of different blocks. And yeah, so I think that minting will be a lot of fun because it's a big part of the game. So
I think one thing that people will not have realized that we changed is previously if you didn't use a color, it wasn't possible for the weapon to be that breed. But actually with the new algorithm we're using, even if you use all red, there is still a very small chance. It's very small, but there's a chance that you get one of the other colors as the breed of the weapon, right?
Yeah,
so that's one thing that we also added in, because I think it adds a little bit more excitement to the minting process, that you won't always get exactly what you want. But I think this distribution makes it a lot fairer, and you can see basically, as Benji said, if you use all red, you might have a higher chance. I think it's about a 2% chance of getting a legendary or something like that.
Yeah.
But if you use an eighth of each color, you have like a 1% chance, right? But the distribution in the middle, the chances of you getting an okay weapon, like a medium level weapon, are a lot higher if you use 8 different colored blocks. If you use all one color of blocks, you have a significantly higher chance of a powerful weapon, but also a significantly higher chance of the worst weapon.
Yeah.
But then a little bit more in the middle, right? So it just sort of shifts the distribution over a bit and makes it a bit more interesting for the minting process. So there's a few options while you're minting, so you can optimize to see what type of weapon you get.
Yeah.
So this is one thing. There's also a lot of very complex algorithms and equations that we've been tweaking, and they're all in the white paper. So you'll have a little bit of something to look forward to for the maths and the maths geeks out there.
Yeah, like we don't need to go into details so much for that, but like I think it will be.
Also, this is a simulation in Python that we ran of 1 million different minting.
Yeah,
right? It's a million. You did a million simulations to basically see the distribution. So that's just to give everyone an idea of. Okay, which would you like me to go to
maybe
next?
We can check similarly we kind of redesigned the way the summoning works. So like maybe you can check your generation.
Okay.
Yeah, this one. Okay, with the transparency looks kind of weird. I didn't see that coming.
No, I can remove us and we'll be fine. I know if I remove us, we'll okay.
Like a white background or something.
No, if I remove us, they won't hear us. So
Okay. Well, okay. So basically, anyway, like on this one, we can basically see what's happening. So these are like each time, like the way that the algorithm works before is we kind of took like let's say you had two Bezoges. You would take like randomly like the colors of the existing Bezoges you're using to summon, and it would be like the first color, and then we reduce this probability, but like by adding to the other existing classes, other breeds that I used to summon.
yeah, previously it was if the nose was, let's say you have two colors in your Bezogi. If the nose was color 1 and it was 50-50 chance, then when they choose the eyes, we would do 25% to 75. We would half the probability of the next color being the same as the first one.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And now we do something similar, but like instead of like adding to the other probabilities, we add it to every possible breed. So basically, in this example, so what we start with like a probability distribution that is basically like which is just comes from the two breeds of the Bezoges that I used. And then in this case, what we select for the color of the nose is gold. And then for the second one, we divide the gold by 2, and we add it back to every other color.
Yeah.
And in this case, what we select next is red, which was not actually used to summon the Bezoge. And by doing that, we make sure that we don't have too much like purebred, not too many mixed breeds. So we have like a much more stable distribution, and we have something that ensures that like the rarity is kind of preserved, and there's no way to like you can still optimize a lot like the ways you get like purebred, mixed breed, etc. But you won't have as much like the rarity will still stay very high.
Yeah, I think the main thing to know is we ran simulations, and what was the probability of a purebred before on the previous algorithm?
It was relatively good. It was like a 2%. Now it's 1.5.
Yeah.
But like it was the main issue was the mixed breed.
Yeah, mixed breed was like 25%.
Yeah, it's 23 if you were summoning with like the optimal way.
Yeah.
So,
and what is the percentage with the new algorithm for
it's like 4.5%.
Okay, that's more correct.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of this stuff that's going on behind the scenes, guys. I know a lot of you will be really geeky about this stuff. Maybe Bobby specifically. Are there any other?
Yeah, I can show maybe like random Bezoges. Yeah. So this is like with completely random Bezoges, like one different one every time. So we cannot really see, but like the top is common. Then it's like rare, epic, mixed breed, and purebred. So with like with completely random Bezoges, your probability of getting a purebred is 0.05%, which is super low.
Yeah.
But like if you use two purebreds, then you get something of the same color, then you'll get 1.5 color. So
okay, so yeah, this is I apologize that there's the transparency, because you will be able to see on the left-hand side, it does say the rarities, but it's just quite hard to read. So basically, this is if you're to breed two completely random Bezogi, and this is if you're to breed two purebreds, right?
Yeah, these are two purebreds of different color.
Okay.
And like this one is like two purebreds, so you have like a high chance of getting mixed breed. In this case, this is one of the optimal way to get mixed breed.
Yeah.
And
then this is if you're to use two purebreds of the same color.
Yeah.
So even if you're using two purebreds of the same color, you have a much higher chance of getting epic, but you still have quite a low chance of getting mixed breed, because it's 100% of each, whereas the two 100% of different colors made a much higher chance of the mixed breed, because it was 50-50, right?
Yeah.
And then the chance of the purebred is a lot higher. It's 1.5, whereas with the other one it's 0.1. I mean, you're never going to get that.
Yeah.
It's like a 1 in 500 or something, right?
Yeah.
About 1 in 500, whereas this is significantly less. This is 1 in 75 or something like that. Around that, something like that.
This is 1 in 64. Yeah.
1 in 64. Okay. Then you get it right. Oh, he's keeping in the 8-bit theme.
Yeah.
1 in 64.
So yeah. So I think that's probably the more important for like the breed. So all these simulations we've done it like each one is done 1 million times. There will be more that will be shown in the white paper. So you'll be able to see that. Also, yeah, one other thing that we've been working on is like a system for the pools. I think that's a very interesting system. And I don't think any other project is really doing things in this way, at least not.
Yeah, this is one thing that we wanted to talk about because I guess that's a good segue into what I have to talk about. I have the tough stuff to talk about. Yeah, I have the tough stuff to talk about. I want to quickly give a little bit of an overview of the progress of how the project has progressed so far. I mean, we started off with the goal of creating a game.
Okay, that was a tough talk.
He did it on purpose, right?
No, I'm sure he'll be coming back.
That was some good information, though. I know there's a lot of people in the community that are excited while we're waiting for them to come back. But yeah, all those summoning and percentages, it's definitely going to help.
I think it's a lot to absorb right now, but as soon as we publish the white paper, which we're very close, I won't give a definite timeline here, but lately have been putting a lot of time in the white paper. So as soon as that's published, I think it would be more clear about how really this game is functioning and how we are actually standing out. Yeah.
Sorry, I'm back.
There we go,
Yeah.
guys.
Go ahead. Close yours.
I apologize. My VPN, this time it wasn't the Wi-Fi. We actually got like new enterprise grade Wi-Fi for the office. So the Wi-Fi is perfect. But that time my VPN just cut out for 5 seconds and I was gone. So what point did I get to before I cut off?
You're
That
talking
this is
about
the
the
tough
progress.
part.
Yeah.
Okay, so what I wanted to explain was the way that the project, not necessarily the progress of development, but the progress of what we've decided to develop as a team. And I think when we started the project, we had a very basic game in mind. Yes, an MMORPG, but we didn't think we didn't necessarily want to build something as complex as what we've now decided to do. I think that's number one. And I think the game is going to be significantly better than what we originally had in mind. And I think the people that are in the alpha testing will have seen the sort of the step up in the quality of the game, even just when you've switched from the old neutral zone to the new neutral zone. I think people can begin to see, and now you're seeing the UI is changing. You're seeing all the complexities that we're showing with these simulations that we're running as well. There's a lot that we are doing behind the scenes to make sure everything works correctly. And I think that basically when we started, the best game in the best game was not even Axie. Axie didn't even really exist yet. It existed, but it hadn't really gone crazy yet. And so then you had Axie Infinity, which again was a very basic game, but it showed the power of play to earn gaming. It showed like the growth, the rapid growth that you can have with play to earn gaming as player growth happens. And then what you had was the decline of that, and that showed us the issues with play to earn mechanics and the tokenomics, and that we had to solve that. So one of the main things that we've been working on internally is actually how we can make a sustainable play to earn game. And no one has done it yet. I mean, we're yet to see a project that has come out with a proper tokenomics that can promote people buying the token and spending it in game whilst also being sustainable. And it's very difficult to do. So I think basically to lead into that, the easy way of saying is that beta will be a little bit delayed. mainly because the complexity of the game has increased, and we want to make sure that we can create a game that is actually sustainable. And I think we're very, very close with actually with all the equations and the algorithms behind it. We're very close. I mean, even with the game earning pools, we didn't show the simulations of that today, but we've also been running a lot of simulations just on the earning pools. And I think the latest simulation you saw, it went down to the pool went down to 60%, right?
Yeah.
With over how many years? 3 years.
It's 3 years, yeah.
Yeah. So we ran a simulation, and basically the earnings would only go down about 40%. And that was the earning pool that we have in the game. So I'm not going to go into too much detail about how the earning pool works, but the earning pool is basically what everyone earns from. And it's distributed among all the different quests and all the different enemies within the game. And basically, every day we add into the pool, and the players are taking out of it. But that simulation is based on a few things, and it assumes it's a worst case scenario simulation. It assumes that no one is depositing any tokens into the game, right? Which basically should never happen. There should be people depositing tokens into the game. And it also assumes that no one is minting any weapons. Is that correct?
Yeah. It means that the money it counts the money that goes out. I mean, I've run also some where we count that some part of it will go back into the economy. But that's the baseline was this one. Yeah,
because basically we have people taking from the pools in the game. And that's how you earn, and we add to the pools on a daily basis. Well, actually, it's on a constant basis, but basically we base the calculations on daily, I think. And as you spend blocks within the game, they actually go back into the pool. So as you're minting weapons, they go back into the pool. So of course, when people are depositing tokens from outside of the earning pool, and then minting, they're adding to the earning pool. So in theory, the earning pool, which is actually locked up supply of the block, should be increasing. So the circulating supply over time, I actually believe that it will go down, and that the earning pool will actually increase in size. So people will be able to earn more per day. We need to run a lot more simulations, but I do think that that's most likely what's going to happen, is that the earning pool will end up actually bigger than it was to start off with. Whereas in most games, they have the earning pool and they just keep giving out. Like Axie, for example, every day each Axie gets 10 SLP, I think it is. And every day the amount of SLP they have to give out is just going down and down and down. Either that or they're minting new supply, which is increasing the circulating supply. Whereas with the system that we have, we actually decrease. We should, in theory, if the game is, the more the player growth is, we should be decreasing the pool. Decreasing the circulating supply, because the pool will be increasing as there's more players. So basically, that's the gist of it. The beta will be delayed, but we're very happy with the progress we have, and I think we're going to deliver a significantly better game than we originally had planned. And I think on the next AMA we'll probably be able to give a more specific date, but. If I'm honest, it should be. We're expecting August. I'm going to be 100% honest with everyone. I think we're expecting August for beta, and beta means we will have full email login and an admin panel to manage your account. You'll be able to mint weapons. You'll be able to complete quests. There will be a storyline for the game, an intro to explain the story, because we've written something again that we've not shared. We've written a full timeline of about 1,000 years, or maybe even more than 1,000 years of timeline for the entire game, from the inception of the world on how the blocks were created. There's a full storyline created. We're now sketching out a lot of the artwork to show that storyline and animate it within the game, so that people will be able to see that. Is there anything else I'm missing out in terms of functionality? There's minting. There's quests. There's different enemies around the map. Yeah. There's much more advanced enemies than we have right now. There will be groups of enemies. We're actually changing the way that the enemies look. So each enemy will have a fixed texture. So like, for example, Shib right now comes in all different colors. And we're actually going to take that back and put him wearing different colors of armor rather than the color of the body changing, because it allows us to give the game a more consistent feel. So Shib will always look like Shib, because sometimes right now he doesn't look like Shib. So Shib will always look like Shib, Doge will always look like Doge, but they'll be wearing different colored armor to represent the color of blocks that you're going to collect when you attack them. So they'll be sort of, every enemy will look like the character that they are meant to be. We have, and there's a lot. So basically the game will be really fun to play, I guess, is the main point with beta. It won't just be the same game as we could have just taken the same game as we have now and said, and added an email login or whatever and said, this is beta, but we decided, let's make a really good game and make sure it has all of the key mechanics that make the game what it is, and delay it until August, because I think it's more realistic that we can have a really good game to launch by August. Is that correct, Ben?
Yeah. I think so too. I mean, the goal is to build stuff for the, like, basically our goal is always to make the best game for the final launch, and like alpha, beta, etc. It's mostly it's to get to that goal. So we don't really want to kind of fake it until we make it. We really want to make it right from the start. So I think that will help us doing that.
Yeah. So again, I do really apologize that the beta won't be launched at the end of this month, but we're still, I mean, very happy with the progress that we have. The other thing that we didn't announce is that the blocks, we will be starting fundraising for the blocks very soon. So for those in the community that are interested, there will be a way for you to invest in the blocks and to buy blocks in sort of a pre-sale /IDO. We'll announce a lot more information about that later. We'll be distributing the white paper very soon to private investors. So to institutional and private investors, probably. Doglord, am I right in saying that should be next week?
Yeah, it should be the final. It's just going to final tweaks and pieces. I think the reason why we took white paper so long is because as we were developing, we realized there are some gaps which Benji, who used his mind and genius, figured it out. So I think people will be impressed with what we're putting out in the white paper, and I think it would be a lot of inspiration for other play to earn games to adopt the logic we've used in here, because no one's done it yet.
I think that if I'm 100% honest, I think we've cracked like the play to earn gaming algorithm. I genuinely feel that what we've come up with is it's not the only solution, but it's what I've seen so far is the best solution that is possible to solve the play to earn gaming mechanic. Well, it's a system that rewards people at all stages of the game, but it also incentivizes people to invest into the ecosystem in terms of like buying blocks to speed up their progress in the game, which is what you want. But you kind of need in a play to earn ecosystem, you need that pay to win. So it's free and you can earn and you can grind, but you can also pay to progress faster, which allows people to invest into the ecosystem. And that then, because the earning towards the end of the game with the higher, the more you progress is higher due to the way the pools work, it really brings value to the NFTs within the ecosystem, because if the powerful weapons are helping you speed up and get to the bigger pools at the top, where all the earning is, you might be earning 50 cents, $1 a game, $1 a day at the low levels, but you'll see that people at the top levels are earning $100, $200, $300 maybe, because the pools are so big at the top. It brings tremendous value to the NFT ecosystem and also to the blocks, because people need to buy blocks to create these NFTs. And also the same with the secondary market. It brings a lot of value to these weapons that are on the secondary market when you do decide you want to sell them, because if someone is able to buy that weapon, they're able to progress in the game a lot faster. So that's what we've tried to design with this system, so that we kind of want the outflow of cash from the ecosystem not to come in form of selling our tokens, but to come in the form of selling NFTs, because the NFTs are what enables you to earn more tokens in the game. So that's how we've tried to design, and we think that that's a much more sustainable ecosystem, and there should be more tokens being spent in game than what is coming out, because what's coming out is coming out in terms of selling NFTs, which doesn't damage the price as much. At least that's what we believe will happen. So we've designed everything within the game to the best of our ability, at least, and we're continuing to optimize that as we go. But at least at the moment, to the best of our ability, we believe that that's the way our ecosystem should work, and it should be a lot more stable and a lot more sustainable than other ecosystems we've seen. And no one has done what we've done with the earning pools. I think when people see the white paper, I think to the public, white paper will most likely be next month. We'll at least release we'll release part of it by next month. So, yeah, I think that covers what I needed to cover. Is there anything Zach and Nick wanted to add?
Pretty much the same. I mean, I think the community is going to be very happy about how we've done the formulations on the running of the in-game economy, encouraging players to actually add into the game and keep on adding more value into the game than actually taking anything out. Also believe, I mean, after all these months of practices and running simulations, I do also feel kind of like we're going to be setting a good standard out there for a lot of blockchain games to follow. A lot of blockchain play-to-earn games haven't reached the stage that we've reached. I've seen that no one has really tried to have a good crack at how a good in-game economy, a healthy economy for any kind of play-to-earn game should work. So I'm happy that we'll be publishing it. So not only will our holders find see the proprietariness or the confidence that they'll see from what we formulated, but I'm also happy to publish it so that other people, other games can actually start following suit when it comes to being able to, create their in-game economies. That's quite pretty much on the same line as you guys.
Yeah. I mean, I can also say that I'm not going to name any names, but we've had some of the biggest games that are out there on blockchain that previously sort of didn't even look at our project have reached out to us through some people within the team and said that they now they want to find out how they can invest in Bezoge and in the blocks. So it gives you an idea of how much we've stepped up since the beginning, that people are beginning to see us as a sort of a valid competition, at least, and are wanting to invest in our project as well. So I think that's the key here. I think we need to innovate in this space, and we can't just drop the game as quickly as possible with a mediocre solution. Otherwise, it will the price may pump up like crazy, but it won't be sustainable. I think what we've come up with is designing something that will bring demand at the same time as a bit of sustainability when it comes to cashing out those earnings in the game. It's significantly better than anything I've seen, especially based on the simulations that we've done. The simulations look like it's going to work exactly as we expected. I was actually kind of shocked that it worked. It works probably better than I expected, actually. So
I think that was the aim from day one, Steve, right? That we looked at Axie as an example. We saw SLP as inflationary, and we always knew that kind of model wouldn't survive. I guess we were right when it comes to that, seeing what's happened currently with the biggest play-to-earn game out there. And I do think absolutely, like, we had to find a good crack, a good way to create and code the in-game economy. I'm quite confident the way we've designed it is definitely going to work. I really do feel it will.
What we've done, Zach, is sorry to cut you off a little bit. We do actually still have the inflationary aspect, if you want to think about it like that. We have inflationary and deflationary at the same time. So we have the deflationary on-chain, where the amount of blocks in supply should be going down as more is locked up into the earning pool. But then on the other side, actually, because there's more going into the earning pool, there's actually inflation in the game where people are earning more, right? Because as the earning pool goes up, there's two sides to it. So it kind of balances out, and it should. I hate to use the word algorithmically, but it kind of is. It should algorithmically balance itself out. I know a lot of people have worries when they hear algorithmically recently, but I mean, algorithmically, it should just work out. It should. The ecosystem should balance itself. In the sense that if there's more players, the earnings will be less per player, but there will still be huge earning potential at the end of the game. And so every time there's an update, every time there's new quests and we extend the levels that you can go within the game, there should be a big rush for players to get to the end as quickly as possible, because the first person to complete each quest will be earning the most, as the pools will be going up and up and up. So when you get to the end of the game, the pools will be so big, and the first person will actually get the biggest prize. So every time there's
I
an
think
update, rush
I
to
don't
get.
maybe necessarily as the pools get bigger and tougher to complete. I don't think necessarily one person will be able to complete it. You might need a group, a guild,
Oh, for sure.
or yeah, the top level quest
Even
as
if
the
it's
reward pool increases. I don't
Exactly.
think one person will be able to achieve it, no matter how
Even if it is one person, even if it is a group, it will still be a much bigger prize, is the point. The earnings will still be significantly higher the further you progress in the game. But that doesn't mean that in total there's actually higher earnings at the end of the game. It still should average out. It's just that you'll have less people at the end of the game.
Yeah.
If that makes sense. So the earnings in total will be almost the same. It's just that you have 5% of the players that are at the end of the game, and you have 95 that are at the start. So
Yep, but then specific to the genre of MMORPG, by the time those players have gotten towards the end of the game, they've contributed so much more back to the in-game economy for the other players that are at the start of the game. So it does kind of have a great balance out. But I think it's like just talking right now where a lot of people might just be like taking notes or trying to figure it out. So I think best is obviously the white paper is due to be published very soon. I think it's going to be quite an exciting time for the community to see how all the codes and all the formulas have been put together.
yeah, there's white paper coming very soon. Beta most likely in August. We'll give a more firm date, a firmer date next week. Next AMA. Staking coming very soon, along with MBLKs. MBLK fundraising should start next week. I don't know if I want to share how much we're going to raise. No, maybe I shouldn't, because it's subject to change still. But basically, yeah, there's the MBLK raise, which will be followed by IDO, I would assume, right after, which will allow people to buy. Someone is asking if Blue Beginnings will be available. We will work in something. There'll be a way, whether it's in the final private round or if it's in the IDO itself, to give away for current Bezoge holders to be able to buy blocks before anyone else. We'll 100% will definitely work that in.
Yeah, the IDO will prioritize Bezoge holders. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's the whole point of the IDO. Yeah.
IDO for sure. Private sale maybe. For people that want to invest a certain amount, we may find a way for people to come into private sale. Not guaranteed, but we'll reach out in the community if that's the case. If there's the opportunity for people to invest in the private sale. What else did I miss? Then we have one thing to note is the influencer that we mentioned before. We are actually working on with them. I'm going to say them. I was almost said the gender there. To put together a limited edition NFT collection. So that's something to look forward to. We'll also have the weapons coming very soon. We're working with a partner, a very exciting partner for the weapons drop. So the weapon should be coming very soon, alongside the influencer NFT collection as well. There's a lot coming. Beta. I said that at the start. Beta in around August. There's a lot of these things coming very soon.
So actually, I think you mentioned it a little too quickly there, but I think a lot of people in the community were actually asking about the influencer. And just wanted to clarify that, point out to everybody that we've been working with the influencer, and where a lot of people are actually expecting that it's just going to be somewhat of like a promotion or like some kind of sponsored shill. It's actually a little bigger than that, and that's why we wanted to mention it to you guys in this AMA. But it's actually a very limited NFT collection, right? Which was the best way we found to encourage their ecosystem to kind of become part of ours, as well as maintain longevity with an influencer to remain with us within our ecosystem by doing a very limited NFT collection. And it is quite a unique NFT collection. So really excited for you guys to see that when as we announce it. Steve, do we have any potential timing on when we're planning to do that?
Not publicly, no.
Okay.
I mean, the main thing is we need to finalize the NFT collection, and we're still finalizing that with the influencer themselves. There's a lot of back and forth, of course, to confirm the exact way that the collection looks. You know, they have to give their feedback, and it's a back and forth, and it's taking it's just a creative process. It's taking time. So that we're in that process right now. I think we're close to the final product. And once we have the final product, we can then go ahead and start making all the creatives and everything for the marketing and for actually launching it. So I mean, I can't say much other than quite soon. It also because it's an NFT collection, it's a little bit more dependent on market as well. So we need to make sure the conditions are correct to drop that, but it should be reasonably soon. I mean, it should be around the same time as beta, ideally, or just after. One of the things we need to be careful with an influencer collection as well is, especially seen as this NFT collection is usable in a game, for an influencer to put their credibility on the line, we need the game to basically be ready for the NFT collection, right? It's that's also very important. So that's one of the main reasons for that.
Like you mentioned about market conditions, and the one thing I really wanted to mention actually at the start of the AMA was I really wanted to appreciate our community. The market conditions are pretty bad. I mean, we can all see it. It's no secret. But one thing I did notice in all our chats, in the telegrams, I've seen a lot of positivity. And I really want to appreciate everybody that's valuing and putting confidence in the development that we are doing. It is really inspiring when, even in difficult times, even in tough market conditions, we see people being positive, being confident about their investment into the project. It's very motivating, guys. It's very motivating. It's very inspiring. So just wanted to thank everyone out there. All I see is great messages out there in all our chats, and just want to say thank you for that.
Yeah, and the one thing I forgot to mention there is summoning will be another thing that is coming. So yeah, I remembered that because someone is Don Dishman in the group is asking, when can we stake? Staking will be a 3-part process. So, well, a 3-part process. There's 3 parts to the ecosystem. One is the MBLK, the magical blocks. So we need to have the magical block sale complete before we can do staking, because the main staking reward is magical blocks. We need the staking contract finished, and that's in the middle of being done. I think we actually do have some full UI for the staking. I need to look at. Maybe I could share it in a minute.
Yeah, we do. It's
Can you
it's
share it
still the
with me?
first it's still the first draft, but I can share the link. I'll drop the link to you now.
Actually, you have permissions to upload. You can upload it to the stream, and I can
Drop
share
the
it.
staking teaser. Let's see it. Let's drop a little bit of the staking teaser.
You can show some of the staking UI. So the staking requires staking contract, which is done, and our team of devs are actually going through and testing it right now. And then it will be going out for audit. There's a few optimizations that need to be made on the contract, and then we'll send it out for audit. There's one big thing that we're doing. We're most likely doing with staking to optimize it even further, which will be very exciting for Bezoge holders. So I'm quite excited about that. I think Zach and Nick know what I'm talking about. Yeah, number 2 is the summoning, and number 3 is the MBLK, the magical blocks. We need all 3 of those at the same time. So basically, summoning, staking, and magical blocks will all come around the same time. Number 1 will be magical blocks. They're the key. So after the IDO and after the launch of magical blocks, we'll then move into adding staking and summoning as soon as possible, because we don't want to have the staking and have the magical blocks available without something to use them for. So we need to have summoning finished in order to launch the magical blocks, basically, or at least within a couple of weeks or within a month of launching the token. Okay, so did we want to maybe move on to community, Carrie? Are you going to cover some of the marketing this week as well?
Yeah, I was just going to update for everyone. I'm sure they noticed Shahid isn't here. He took a little mini vacay. And what we talked about doing is compiling a list of all the marketing we've done out of all of Q2, because there has been a lot of marketing from YouTube videos, marketing in various platforms that people may not realize is taking place. So we discussed maybe compiling an entire list to show the community, to show everyone how much marketing has been done. And also, we have a new hire, someone to assist with the marketing. She's starting this week, correct?
Yeah, she just started actually this past Wednesday.
Okay, perfect. So yeah, having someone there to help. I asked Ernesto, I don't know if he's around. I was going to see if Ernesto wanted to pop in. I know him and Daphne are doing a lot with the academy. It's been going strong now for over a full month and a
Yep.
half.
Yeah, we
So,
have done our 10th session of the academy, which means out of the 15 total sessions planned for the academy, 10 are done. So we're almost reaching the graduation of our first successful batch of students. Yeah.
yes, it's exciting. I appreciate the time that they take to do everything they're doing, from the training, computer education, as well as, the crypto and gaming side of it. They get it all. So those are some lucky students. All right. I'm just touching over my notes real quick. I'll do the giveaway live. I'll see if I can share my screen real quick. And before I do that, so one thing that we talked about doing, changing it up a little bit. So right now we have our weekly giveaways. So on Twitter, the 100 billion giveaway. And on the off week that we don't have an AMA, I'm looking at planning, having some game tournaments. And I want everyone to join Discord, because I can coordinate the tournaments within Discord. And we're looking at possibly the first one. It hasn't been set in stone yet, and I haven't made, an official announcement about it yet, but I'm looking at possibly doing a poker tournament for that weekly giveaway. So instead of the Twitter giveaway, it's a weekly tournament, and might actually increase your chances, your odds of winning. But I'll need everyone in Discord for that. So if you're not in Discord, get active, because I'll be doing tournaments in there for that 100 billion tokens. And yeah, but I'll make it an official announcement once we get it started. Likely by tomorrow, I'll have an official announcement on that. And let me think. Okay, hold on. I actually have a lot. So also Samuel has been doing the live game development recordings on the weeks that we don't have the AMA. I need to double check and verify with him because I believe this upcoming Friday would be when he's available to do it instead of next Monday. He's been doing them on Mondays, and he has something special. So once I can confirm the time with him and confirm that it is this Friday, I encourage everyone to be there. He's got something special to develop for everyone. So I'll get that confirmed and get that posted in the announcement channel too. Again, that will be in Discord under the Bezoge headquarters voice chat. Okay, I think that's it. There was a lot. I appreciate you guys, appreciate everything that you guys are doing too. I know y'all are putting so much into this whole project and game, and we're all going to benefit from it in the end. Now, I'm going to attempt to share my screen. I know I had some issues with it last time when I tried, but I'm going to share my screen so I can do the giveaway. If it's coming up.
There we go.
Okay. All right. Can you guys see this? I've already loaded the tweet in, and you can see it's May 31st to June 12th. So it's the correct one. Loaded it, added 2 for the 2 weeks. And now I just need to hit continue. 247 entries loaded that met all the qualifications. So here we go. Well, hold on.
Here we go.
Drum roll. Okay, and see, this is a perfect example. You can see if you're not following Bezoge, these people missed out. So
these 2 people could have won. They could have won if they were
Yes.
just following Bezoge.
Gotta be following Bezoge. So Kev at Kevin Daplast and Sherial. Is it truly matter? Whatever that name is, I apologize. You guys are the winners. I'll reach out from the main account, the main Bezoge Twitter account, to get verifications of everything and get your wallets.
Congratulations. Congratulations to the winners.
They won 100 billion each. Is that correct?
100 billion each. So that accounts for the last 2 weeks. But like I said,
I like that we someone said condolences to those 2 people that didn't follow the account.
Very true.
I think we mean the 2 people that didn't follow the Bezoge account, not the 2 people that won.
Right. Well, hey, let that be a lesson. Let it be a lesson. A simple click, one little click to just follow. It's all it took for them to win. So,
but what I was saying was, I like that we're not dropping the weekly. We're still doing 2 every week and 2 every 2 weeks instead of 1 every 1 week.
We are going to change it now. What we're planning to do is the 1 week we are off, we're actually trying to do a game tournament or like poker or maybe something online, like any other games. And actually make it more competitive, engaging, and fun for the community as well. Because
Yes.
we were having a discussion earlier, and back in the day, even when we were not really, the product was in very early stages, we were actually just having fun in the community, and that should still go on because it's all about. Bezos was always about the community, right? So
Yeah, and I
it's
think
just a new.
once we launch beta as well, we can even do tournaments within the game. So that should be possible.
You're saying we can have casino in the game?
Not a casino in the game, but we can have in-game tournaments. You know, for whoever can kill the most enemies in an hour or whatever it is, we can certainly run some tournaments once the. I mean, we could even do it reasonably soon with alpha, to be honest. But I think in beta we'll be able.
I think we're waiting for the backend to finish where we can actually have the leaderboard configured. I had a word with Benji earlier on this.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
once that's done, maybe we could have a prize pool for the top 3, top 5, or maybe multiple categories, and even make beta a play to earn aspect. Add a play to earn aspect to it.
Yeah, exactly.
I like the casino idea because since the house always wins, we're definitely deflating with that one.
Yeah, we would definitely be deflating, yeah, for sure.
Yes. But I encourage everyone, make sure you are in Discord because I'm going to be running any games or tournaments, or, you know, I may even do like some random pop-up ones, but I'm going to be doing it out of Discord only to encourage everyone to be in there.
So as a key thing that we wanted to also let you know about, and I want, not necessarily that we plan to talk about this week, but we will be moving a lot into Discord. I mean, the reason being Discord is extremely important as a game within the gaming community. That's where the gaming community is. We really need to move more into Discord. So a lot of the integrations with the game, and well, not necessarily integrations with the game, that's the wrong word, but the flow of the onboarding flow and the sort of funnel and how players come in and the workflow, it will be a lot of it going through Discord. I mean, Discord will be a prominent part of the experience when playing the game and when onboarding into the game, especially in alpha and beta. So please, if you're not in the Discord, make sure you get in. I think most of the people that watch the AMA are probably already in Discord. But just for those that aren't, please make sure you get into Discord. There'll be a lot more content there. We're going to begin dropping a lot more updates in there in terms of game development, just very rough. One of the reasons Discord is great for that is there's a lot of content that we have that's really rough. It's just 3D models that the game designers have. There's little snippets like we showed on this stream of running around in the new neutral zone. Snippets like that can all be dropped in a channel in Discord, but there's too much for us to do announcements in the Telegram or just drop them in Telegram or on Twitter. There's not really a space that we have for that other than Discord. And Discord, we can have channels that are literally just development updates, and there should be a constant flow of updates coming in there. Expect to see a lot more of that very soon. We're going to drop a lot more of that type of content, but it'll all be in Discord because that's the only place that we can really drop it without it just becoming a bit of a mess. So
I think it's necessary as well because the game's getting so complicated that if not so complicated, but so big that you cannot really, anyone coming into Telegram really can't understand every aspect of the game. But on Discord, you can easily go where you want to find out information about the game. So
yeah, exactly. There'll be a summoning section, a minting section where people are discussing all these different mechanics. You know, there's a full rework. I know Malcolm is working on. We didn't actually go over the new hires, right? We went over one new hire, but we also have Malcolm, who's ex Insta360 and DJI, coming in working on processes and also on a lot of the marketing side and the onboarding and the flow of the user flow from, you know, how they first see the product to finally, you know, using the game and playing the game. And that's one of the reasons that we'll be doing a complete rework of Discord and the onboarding process. through the website, through the marketing, driving to website, to the whole sign up for beta, and then into the Discord. So there'll be a big rework to that, and expect to see a lot more content and a lot more. I think actually within the next month you should begin to see a lot more content on all channels actually, with the new hire in marketing coming in, and also Malcolm creating the processes for the team to be able to make a content machine basically. That's his experience with DJI and Insta360 before. So he has a lot of experience in marketing and making sure we can push the team to get as much content out as possible. Because I know we want to get a lot more out.
Yes.
Maybe
and
Malcolm could come online next AMA and maybe give an introduction.
Yeah, I was going to say that. Yeah, I mean he splits his time between the US and the UK. So when he's in the US, it'll be a lot easier for him. But I know the UK is currently 4 a.m. So it's a bit of a. It's not the best for him, but I think when he's in the US, it'll be a lot easier. I'm sure but let's see if he can come on the next session. I'm sure he'd love to come on. Even if it's at 3 a.m., I'm sure he'd love to come on.
Yeah, maybe we can get him to hop on for a bit. But yeah, back to what you were saying about Discord, the separate categories just helps keep it organized, and people can go in and go directly to what they need to. And, whether it's asking questions, getting help with something, or finding something we posted. But on that note, I'm ready to get into the rest of my questions. I feel like I've talked a lot and I haven't even started my questions.
Could I share the staking UI and maybe you guys could go through it? Maybe Steve could go.
Yeah, did you upload it already?
Yeah, I could just show it now.
Oh, there we go.
The staking. There we go. It's so exciting.
There we go. I don't like that the APY is only 6% though. No, I'm joking. I'm joking. It's just random.
It's just a UI.
Placeholder numbers. Yeah, exactly. This gives people a bit of an idea of the UI, that you'll be able to see, the Bezoge chart in the middle. You'll be able to see a lot of information about how the staking will work. But basically, you'll be staking. And you'll receive rewards in MBLK, also in Bezoge, but also in other tokens. So there may be USDT, there may be ETH. There's no limit to what tokens we can give as rewards, mainly because what you receive in staking rewards is basically everything from the ecosystem, from the Bezoge ecosystem. So if there's transaction volume in our ecosystem, let's say on the NFT marketplace in USDT, then for sure you'll be getting USDT rewards. Yeah, exactly. I like how there's a few little Easter eggs in there for the people that are the eagle-eyed. I've spotted one. But
there's screenshots happening constantly as you're showing them.
Yeah, I was just about to say, I'm sure someone's like screen recording and screenshotting this already. So
I mean, it'll be on YouTube. It'll be on YouTube forever. So I think
yes.
But basically,
I think we could break it down into very simple things. That there's 3 terms where you could stake your Bezoge. That's kind of what we've already discussed before, right?
Yes,
we don't want people to, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we can go into a lot of it, to be honest, because it's all mostly confirmed. But basically, you can stake at the moment. It's 30 days, 90 days, and 360 days. So basically, 1 month, 3 months, and 12 months, or a year. And basically, there'll be 3 pools, 1 for each. Of course, the 1 month staking pool will earn the least in comparison, and the 1 year will earn significantly higher percentage of the whole pool. The rewards that will be going in, there'll be a linear release of MBLK, most likely over 3 years, around 10% of the supply. Still to be confirmed, but around 10% of the entire supply of MBLK will be released over 3 years. Then you have royalties from the NFT marketplace. A portion of that will go in. all of the summoning costs. So the summoning costs will be paid in Bezoge and in MBLK. So whenever someone is summoning, that all of that just goes directly back into the staking pool. So that's one of the things that we call the dynamic rewards. So you have the fixed, which is the linear release, and we have some dynamic, which is the NFT royalties, summoning costs. There's also an early withdrawal fee within the staking itself. So if you withdraw, you can withdraw before your staking ends, but there'll be a fee somewhere around 20 to 30%, and that'll go directly into the rewards for other people that are still staking. So that'll be paid in Bezoge, of course. NFT royalties, like I said, could be USDT, could be ETH, could be anything. So basically, you're not just going to get more Bezoge back. You're going to get Bezoge, you're going to get MBLK, you're going to get USDT, you might get ETH. There's a limitless amount of tokens that you could receive. And in future, if there are future tokens within the ecosystem, let's say we launch another game in the future, for example, and we add a new token into that ecosystem, we would also integrate that directly into the rewards. And likewise, if there was a Blue Beginnings project on the launchpad in the future, we would most likely require that they would lock up a portion of their tokens and add them to our staking as well as rewards on the linear release. So even the fixed / linear aspect of the staking will most likely have other tokens in there in the future as well. It won't be limited to just MBLK. So there's a lot. I gave away quite a lot there, but I mean, I basically explained the entire thing.
It sounds it might sound a little bit more overwhelming, but when we are creating the UI, the main focus out here is to make sure that the user experience in the staking is as simplified and easy to use as possible. So that's why the user interface is being defined in such way. So
the other thing I didn't mention, I'm going to close it now. The other thing I didn't mention is we'll also have NFT drops, NFT sort of lottery system to a certain extent. If you've staked a certain amount, you'll qualify for different tiers of rewards. So you may get the chance to get dropped like legendary weapons or legendary armor by staking as well. Another thing that there will be with staking is for staking a certain amount, you'll get a boost in the game, most likely increased XP. So as you're playing, you're going to earn more XP by staking Bezoge. Let's say just a number off the top of my head. Let's say you staked 100 billion or a trillion. We would have a ratio between 0 and a trillion of the maximum extra XP you could get. Let's say you got double the XP for a trillion. It's not going to be a double, but I'll just to make it easier. Then if you were to stake 500 billion, you would get halfway up. So you'd get 50% increase of XP playing the game for staking. So this will also drive a lot of demand for people to buy Bezoge in order to stake it. In order to get that increased XP, because like I said, if the earnings in the game are mostly towards the end, the high earnings, then there's a significant drive for people to find the fastest way to get to the end, and whether that be by buying blocks, minting weapons, or buying Bezoge and staking it to make sure they get that extra XP boost, because leveling up their character is going to be extremely important for the power level of their account. So yeah, that's another driving factor for people to buy Bezoge in order to stake it and use it in the game.
Exciting stuff there. Since we're on the subject of staking, one of the questions for this week was if the dev and treasury wallets will be staked.
Okay, that's an easy one to answer. You may be shocked by the answer, actually. I think people will expect the opposite. The answer is no. We won't stake, and there's a reason for that. The reason we won't stake is if we were to stake, because we have so much, I mean, we have, let's say, 12% of the entire pool, entire circulating supply. We would just be taking away rewards from other people. So by staking, actually, we would be reducing the APY for the other people within the community. So I think it's not right for the project to stake. Yeah, so we won't be staking, because basically it would just reduce the rewards that everyone in the community would be getting, and we don't need to take those rewards away from people.
Yeah, we
Well, that
collectively
works.
agreed. Yeah, we collectively agreed as a team that we would not stake the treasury or the dev wallet, so the rewards can go to the community.
Yeah. I
Well,
mean, we would
on behalf
just
of
us
the
staking would
community, thank you for that.
significantly reduce the APY. So I think it's more important that we give those rewards out to people in the community than us taking it. We might reduce from the beginning. Let's say it starts at 10,000% or whatever it is. It would probably be higher actually, but we would probably reduce it by like 50%. I know, which is a lot, because it would be taking away half of it, be taking away 5,000%. Let's say it was at 10,000% in the beginning. So yeah, it's I think it's unfair that we stake actually.
Well, thank you for that. All right, next question. Will the contract for the blocks be renounced, or will you leave it open to be able to adjust as needed? I know our current Bezos token contract is renounced, and
it will not be renounced. It will be open to be it will be a fixed contract. It may have the ability to have some aspects tweaked, but it'll be a very basic token. There's no need for so much complexity within the magical block token itself. It may just have some regulatory functions, maybe like whitelisting, blacklisting, but that would be about it. It'll be a very basic token.
okay. And Benji, I know the last alpha session, you had opened it later and our UK people were able to join in. Is this something that you're going to do regularly, have at least once or twice a month, have a special session for different time zones to be able to join in?
Yeah. I think that's something. I mean, last time it kind of came up because I kind of messed up with the date. So sorry everyone for that. I apologize. I'm really.
We forgive you.
But I
It
think
was meant to be Thursday, right? And you did it on Friday. Is that
no,
right?
it was meant to be on Friday, but
You did it on Thursday.
I believed it was Thursday, and I kind of messed up.
Okay.
So I didn't launch it. I mean, it was supposed to launch automatically, but there was like a little mistake. Usually, I check just before, but like this time I didn't. So yeah. But like we want to open more dates. I think what we'll have in the future, because like right now, since we have a lot more people working on the same project at the same time, we kind of it takes a bit longer to have like a working version every time, because like sometimes, let's say the UI guy just pushed a new update, but like it's not like completely finished at the time of the version, and so we won't have like every week a new version, but we will try to open the alpha a bit more often. So
yeah, I think there'll be less frequent updates, but more alpha testing sessions. Maybe not necessarily more, but there's still frequent alpha testing sessions, but with less updates. And because actually it might sound weird, but actually, well, maybe it doesn't sound weird, but actually one of the main reasons that the development slowed down is because we actually did updates for the alpha testing session almost every week. And it would take, it's not a lot of time, but it would take Benji maybe one day to make sure the build is tested and make sure it's stable. And it basically took one day out of Benji's schedule every week in order to ensure that the build was stable just for alpha. So I think what will allow us to speed things up a lot, we'll be able to not update the build every week. Even if we have more things that we've added, we won't necessarily put them into alpha right away, because it would require Benji basically thoroughly testing that build and fixing it and making sure it's completely bug free before pushing it out. I say completely bug-free, but as bug-free as it can be for an alpha testing. So yeah, I think in order to speed things up, there'll be less updates, but still probably the same frequency of alpha tests, maybe even more alpha testing sessions.
Yeah,
but
maybe open like
once or twice a week, maybe.
Yeah, maybe once or twice a week, especially for the European time and stuff like that. We try to use different time zones.
So I think, if we're able to do that and we just have the same build for a couple weeks at a time, at least maybe 2-3 weeks at a time, and we update maybe bi-weekly, or we update at least once a month, we do an update, and we keep pushing the same build. That should allow us to develop a lot faster. Because like Benji said, there's 4 or 5 people all working on different aspects of the game. And so when Benji wants to push an update, he needs to then merge all of their code in and make sure that all of their code also doesn't have any bugs in order to push it out to a stable version. And when you have 5 people working on the same code, there's usually integration issues when you're trying to merge the code together.
Sure. I think at a later stage, it will probably be like just once we're like really at launch or something, it will be easier because like the game will be, it's in final stage, but like now there's still lots of stuff that is changed at every update. So
yeah, this is more of an issue when you're adding new things. If you're tweaking existing things, it tends to be much more stable. Like adding an extra menu would be easy, and like tweaking an existing menu would be an update that wouldn't really break anything. But when you add in a whole new function, it tends to break other things. So we're at that stage that adding new things tends to break things. So we need to, just make sure we control that as much as possible.
Completely understandable. And I know there's a lot of people that haven't had the opportunity to get an alpha yet. And so I think that'd be great, get that UK time slot, even just, a couple extra sessions a month will make a difference. So appreciate you guys working on that for people. Another question that has been brought up by a few people actually, regarding the Bezoge, they were highlighted quite a bit in our game trailer. So can you elaborate? Is there something extra special about them? And will you tell us if so?
I mean, I'm trying to think how to word this. I know the answer. I'm trying to think how to word it. There is something a little bit special about them in the storyline of the game. Not necessarily in terms of functionality. They do have I think that their magical power is actually kind of OP if you pair it with the right team.
Yeah.
But there's nothing specific about their abilities that makes them more powerful. But there is something. I mean, basically the emotion that was put into the Bezoge is all of the negative emotions that you can imagine. So they basically represent negativity. So they're the only Bezoge that actually has a negative attribute in terms of its the emotion that was put in, right? You have every other Bezoge represents positive attributes, and the Bezoge is the only one that's negative. So it makes sense that it stands out a little bit. The trailer was more for comical value. It was more about the Bezoge sort of being the funny one within there, and he's basically saying that all the other breeds are terrible and he's the only good one. So we thought that would be nice for comic effect. But there is something in the storyline. Like, for example, I can give a little bit away. One of the main enemy within the game that has caused everything to be the way it is the Fud King. And he himself was a Bezoge to begin with. So he's a Bezoge that turned evil. So that let his negative emotions take over. So I think the Bezoge are really good, but when their negative emotions take over, that's when things go wrong. So yes and no. There is something special about the Bezoge, but not necessarily in terms of what they can do in the game.
Okay, well, I can't wait to see everything about them because I actually have a couple of them, so we'll see what they can do.
They'll be really good. I think that they'll be really good with the right armor and the right. I think that a mixed breed Freezogia will be very good.
Yeah.
We discussed this already.
Yeah.
Like a mixed breed Freezogia
Zogi.
and Shieldzogia, or Freezogia and Freezogia will be very. I think they'll be OP. Like really, really OP.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Let me write
They
this
don't
down.
exist
All
yet.
right.
They don't exist yet, so they don't exist yet. You'll have to summon one.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, even the Freezogia, I think that the Freezogia with a strong armor, and some good weapons, basically with Shieldzogia or Freezogia weapons and armor, they should be OP as well.
All right. Good to know. There's some teasers for you out there. All right. Will the game have advertisements, sponsored quests, and or battle passes to generate additional revenue for the game? And will that revenue be recycled back into the ecosystem?
I mean, yes is the answer. Sponsored content within the game. We're already actually working with some brands to put together some sponsored content. We have quite a few brands that are already in discussions with to integrate their brand into the game in terms of sponsorship and maybe some stores and galleries of their products within the game. Sponsored quests, again, for sure. We may even have sponsored enemies. That may be a thing. Yeah, so where we'll be able to take sort of company mascots and put them in as enemies of the game for short periods of time. The other that we're working on a concept for a brand this week for that exact thing. What else? What was the last part of the question? It was Battle Pass.
So the last
Battle Pass I kind of already talked about. It'll be more likely that it won't be you buying. It'll be you well, not just buying from us and paying to us in terms of revenue for the game. It'll be more about staking Bezoge. So staking Bezoge to get access to these perks. And I think that brings a lot more value to the ecosystem, that someone would buy Bezoge, stake it for a year, and that will get them like a 1-year battle pass, as you would imagine, right? I think that brings a lot more value into the ecosystem. We lock up more of the circulating supply, drive demand for the native token within the game, without just it being a cash grab. I think that most of our entire ecosystem is designed to revolve around NFT sales. So the more that people are buying and selling NFTs, the more we make as a company. So we're focusing everything with regards to in-game revenue onto driving people to be trading NFTs. That's the main value that's the main money that we make as a project. And so the more players there are, the more NFT trading there should be. That's how we'll make money.
And so I think a lot of people, well, a handful of people have asked about advertising, and it sounds like you guys are doing it in a beneficial way and not the type, most people think of advertising within game and they think about those annoying pop-up ads that pop up constantly while you're in the middle of playing. Speaking of, the other day, Zach popped in Telegram and got a few of us to join him in this egg. I don't even remember the name of the game. It was eggs running around.
I saw that. Yeah, I remember.
I kept dying, so I was getting these pop-up ads all the time, and it was annoying. Because I'm sitting here watching a pop-up ad and, respawning, and he and Cal and whoever else was in there would kill me like as soon as I would respawn. So yeah, I didn't like that game very much.
Pop-up ads are probably one of the worst experiences in gaming for me. Every game tends to have these horrible pop-up ads. if we did ever add pop-up ads, which we're very unlikely to do, it would probably be an optional thing. In terms of, as a player, you could choose to turn on ads in order to increase your revenue, maybe. That's one way that we would maybe, allow players to turn on the ads, but it would always be optional. I think that there may be some perks that you could get within the game by turning the ads on. You know what I mean? But
Got it.
that I was actually thinking about that the other day, if it would make sense that we run ads in the game. I think that's the only way that it would make sense, is if it was an optional by the player that they want to watch an ad every certain amount of time, or if they have to watch a certain amount of ads in order to unlock like an extra XP boost. We may have something like that within the game to generate revenue, but it would never be like forced in your face ad. We want to work on real brand partnerships and sort of NFT 2.0, linking real products in real life to products that work within the game and within the metaverse themselves. And that's what we're working with. We're working with some pretty big brands, actually, to come up with concepts to integrate them into the game. I think that's much more valuable for brands, and I think it's so much more valuable for our project from a metaverse side of things, rather than just pop-up ads. Because everyone hates pop-up ads. I don't think anyone likes them.
No, they can get annoying, but I can see where they could definitely help generate, revenue in the game. And yeah, if you guys can work that out where, because there could be players or people around, the world that are okay with watching, a 15-second or a 30-second ad if they're going to, benefit from it in some way. So,
yeah, there is that. So it would definitely make sense that we would potentially do that. But I think, for sure, we may add that, but I think it brings more value to have ecosystem players in and developing products directly into the ecosystem. I think it makes a lot more sense, especially from the metaverse side of things.
Yes, as long as it can be optional, because, I would rather turn them off myself or even pay to not have them personally.
Well, the other thing is, let's say we were at 1 million daily active players. 1 million daily active players doesn't actually generate that much ad revenue from pop-up ads. It's not a huge amount, whereas if we were at 1 million players, the amount of revenue that we would have from the NFT royalties should be, astronomical in comparison to the ads. So the ads would be such a small portion of the revenue that it would become almost irrelevant to have them. If that makes sense. At 1 million players, the NFT revenue should be so high that
yes,
it just all it does is take away from the user experience for such a small percentage of revenue. It wouldn't really make much sense.
Okay, and out of the comments, I'm gonna pull a couple questions from there. There haven't been too many tonight, actually. So Big Daddy is asking, will you be able to stake in multiple time frames at one time, like 30, 90, and a year staked at the same time?
Yes, you can choose. You can stake multiple times even in the same pool. You could stake 3 times into the 1 year, and they would all have different starting dates of when you started staking. You can stake as many times in any amount of pools as you would like. We also have a solution that we're working on that will allow you to actually move between the pools. So you'll be able to switch from 30 to a year when your 30-day ends, or vice versa, without having to pay the 2% tax on Bezoge, the token, for the transfer.
That's fantastic news. And a question is about the doxing interview video you guys did a while back of the whole team in office. It hasn't dropped. Are we going to post that on the website or YouTube somewhere?
Yeah, I think we could drop it on Twitter. I think we could it makes sense to have that sort of content on Twitter itself. For sure. I know Mike James already dropped it. But yeah, we could drop that on the official Twitter account. I think we could, you mean have a proper video? Like you mean
Yeah,
make
I
a
think
proper
this
video?
one is referring to a while back.
I
you guys-
think what Carrie's talking about is the
Oh.
company All
The
Hands.
corporate all
Oh,
hands,
the
yeah,
corporate all
that sucks so bad that
Yes.
when we were trying to put it together, it sucks so bad that we just kind of held back on that.
It was hilarious, though.
Maybe
I
we
wouldn't say
should,
it
yeah,
sucks
maybe we
so
should do it
bad.
again.
It's just that it will be a very confusing experience for people because there's the team in Pakistan, then there's the team in China who a lot of them don't speak English, so they introduced themselves in Chinese or broken English. It was a bit of a mess, but in a good way. I mean, it was good for an internal call. It was great because everyone got to meet each other, and we're going to be doing them more often. But I think as an external video that we would put out, it was maybe a bit, it wasn't exactly ready for, I don't think it was polished enough. I can see Benji laughing, he was there. I think it was very difficult because we had like 25 people all trying to sit in front of one camera and one microphone. And there was a lot of background noise because of that, because there's 25 people all sitting in one room, which is just, it makes a lot of noise. So yeah, it was.
I think once we have our a lot of our priorities right now out of the way when it comes to development, the things that were discussed on the AMA, maybe we'll make another attempt at it more professionally. Give people like some scripts or at least have it a little more organized. It was kind of funny. I loved it because you had Steve trying to organize everybody one by one to come sit up on a chair. Almost felt like a school teacher in many ways.
It was like me being the school teacher. So no, I think it was great internally, but I don't know if it was external quality. That's all. So
once you guys get the good one, then release that one as like the bloopers version of it or something. Everyone loves bloopers, but get the good one out first.
I think the main issue, to be honest,
that was a blooper.
Yeah. The main issue with it was audio quality. To be honest, I think audio quality wasn't quite good enough. So we'll find it. I think the format was probably wrong. So I think we need to find a format that will work for making a video that we could release publicly.
I think it's a good idea though, because definitely looking at the sheer capacity of how many people are in the team, it would be a great display of the strength of the company. I mean, internally and externally now, there's like almost 50 or more people that are working on this project. So I think it would be a good idea once we get a lot of these priorities out of the way this month to make another organized attempt at it. And, Steve could act as a better school teacher because it was kind of funny. He would speak in English, then he would look at people, he would speak in Chinese. I think we should make another attempt at it, Steve.
Because I'm like I had to be because I'm the only one that was running the call that can speak Chinese and English. So it was it was a lot to manage. Let's just put it that way. Okay, let's answer a couple of final questions and we'll wrap up because we have a lot of work to do today. It's during the work day, the AMA nowadays. So
yes.
Bezoge weapons are number one. Change my mind. I like this question. They're number one from an attack perspective. I think that once we have there's going to be a lot of abilities on weapons. Weapons won't just have their attributes, they'll also have abilities. And not necessarily in the first version of beta, but later versions of beta and main launch. Weapons will also have abilities. So if you imagine, let's say the Holy Zogian weapon, that may actually be very powerful because it'll have an area heal, for example, where you're constantly healing everyone around you as you're using it. And a lot of these other weapons, like the shields, I think Shield Zogian and Freezogian weapons will also be very powerful. Mint Zogian weapons will be extremely powerful as well, along with Dark Zogian. So I think also Speedzogia. I mean, Speedzogia will be also very OP in terms of getting around the map really fast, because moving the speed that you move around the map and the speed that you can run away from enemies as well and dodge their attacks is also very valuable. So I think it's tough to answer. How would you answer it, Benji?
Yeah, I think Speedzogia, especially like it will reduce the cooldown, like you can hit faster with Speedzogia weapons. So I think it will be pretty good. Like even without with the abilities, I think it will change quite a bit. There will be a lot of balancing with that. And yeah, I think that we'll make sure. I mean, we have like ways to balance it that make sure that like it shouldn't be too out of way. And actually, within the game, I mean, it's fine if some weapons are like some weapon is better as a Zogian, some weapons will be better as Minzogian. These kind of things might happen, but I think it's fine. I mean, it's part of the fun of minting. You try to get the optimal weapon for the way you play the game, and so yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you have to remember for weapons, maybe Zergzogian will be the most powerful, but you have to remember there's also other items. There's armor, there's shields, and when it comes to armor and shields, increasing your health, your shield, your speed will be extremely valuable as well. So all of these attributes don't just apply to weapons; they're just items in general. So it's the clothing and the weapons. So I think there's a lot of different attributes. Also, Dark Zogian, Mint Zogian will be very powerful in their own ways. For sure, Speed Zogian and Zerg Zogian will probably be the most OP, at least from what I've seen so far. They will be very OP. But we are balancing them. And then your Holy Zogian should also be very powerful if you're the healer. I think it'll also depend on what you want your role to be within the game. I think that, for example, we said, I mean, even the FUD Zogian may be quite useful. If you're able to attract enemies, that'll be a very powerful skill to have as a member of a team. So if you're playing it as a group, FUD Zogi will be really good. I mean, really, really good. And we may even add in some additional abilities to the FUD Zogi at a later date to make them a bit more powerful. Because I think that they deserve to be a little bit more powerful. So don't knock the FUD Zogi. I love the FUD
that
Zogi.
makes me happy. So I'm going to end it with questions because you guys talked for a few minutes just about that. So that's awesome. Thank you for the info. And yeah, just to everyone, pay attention to Discord and wait for those announcements coming out on that live game development and the tournaments. So that's it for me. Do you guys have anything else to add?
Not really.
Not really, but yeah, just wanted to thank everyone that's been part of the project this far, and just excited for the journey ahead. And thanks for keeping it positive during these times in the groups. Thanks for displaying your confidence in the chats. Really appreciate it, everybody.
Yeah, I could answer this last one as well. This is not really a question. No nerfs to balance. Sometimes nerfs are necessary to balance, but that's the goal of beta. I think we will be balancing during beta, and the idea is that we would launch the game in a reasonably balanced state. At least that's the goal anyway. And we do have a lot of mechanics within the game that we can add in order to balance. And we have 2 game designers that their entire goal is to make the game balanced. So there's a lot of mechanics that we can tweak, a small amount, a lot of ratios and things within the game that we can tweak, and it should balance things without having to, completely nerf. Because I get that it's frustrating when there's a weapon and then suddenly that weapon just gets like completely, it goes from being the best weapon in the game and then overnight it's suddenly the worst. I hate that as well. But sometimes it's necessary, but I think The best example of that for me is Hearthstone. I don't know if a lot of people know Hearthstone yet. It's a card game. It's very different, but they tend to do exactly that. They do like a complete nerf. And when they do nerf, they tend to give you some. They actually tend to give you some gold back in their game. So if they completely nerf a weapon, they allow you to sell it back to the game for the full price that it would cost to buy it. If we were to ever do some nerfs, we could consider some sort of buyback scheme in that aspect for the things that we completely nerf. Well, if it's sustainable or not, we need to double check. But I hadn't considered this so deeply yet, because we've not. I mean, nothing is going to be nerfed until main launch at least. So if it's nerfed through beta, it doesn't really matter that much. But if it's nerfed after main launch, it makes a difference.
Yeah, I think there won't be probably. I mean, there will be small nerfs, but like I don't think. I mean, the goal is to not have to do major nerfs.
Yeah. Weapons may have some small changes in power levels to tweak them. Attributes may have some small changes in power levels. Spells and abilities will have tweaks in power levels, and maybe the additional boost that you get in attack and all this sort of stuff from XP of your account will also be tweaked. But these will all be small tweaks rather than a big like, let's nerf this one thing. As I hate that as well. Sometimes it's necessary, but I think we'll avoid it as much as we can. Okay.
All right. Ernesto, excited for the pop-up ads. Notice he used, egg, because he was playing in that egg game with us too. He was right there dying with me frequently.
Okay. I wondered why he said egg. Okay, guys, I think that wraps it up for this week's 2 hours. It was a long one, actually.
Yes.
But yeah, thank you everyone for joining, and we'll see you in 2 weeks. Actually, Carrie, we'll see people next week for the tournament, whatever it is we decide to do.
Yes, tournament, as well as Samuel doing some live game development. I'll make those announcements once I have that info finalized. Okay. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys. Thank you.